Hi y'all, welcome to Hazen and Barrel Craftworks, here on the Hazen and Barrel Homestead and our humble whiskey room. I'm the Alchemist, and welcome to the third week of November, our third week of giving thanks in this month of Thanksgiving, and happy Friday to y'all. This week, if you've tuned in at all, you know that our third week of giving thanks is giving thanks to the distilleries who make our wonderful whiskey for us. And I happened to pick old McBrayer Legacy Spirits, well, because as I stated earlier this week, Bill McBrayer is a gentleman among gentlemen. He really cares about all us folk who drink his whiskey just as much as he cares about and has a passion for the whiskey he makes. And so I thought, I'm going to round off the week with another bottle that Bill helped me get, and that is Cedar Brook. And if y'all tuned in at all last week, you may remember that I mentioned passing on, and I'm sorry, Philip, I passed on sample that Philip gave me of Cedar Brook on account of I was looking to do a barrel pick in 2026. And the good news is, Bill says he can make some room for us, so we get to have our own barrel pick of McBrayer whiskey, which I'm really excited for. But this bottle of Cedar Brook is 100 proof, and it's a wheated bourbon. And I love me a wheated whiskey or a wheated bourbon. And Bill wrote me a little bit on this one too, and I'd like to share that with y'all. And Bill writes, Old McBrayer and Cedar Brook. Cedar Brook, established in 1847, became one of the world's most renowned bourbon brands during the early 1900s. Old McBrayer, which started in 1870, has its own rich and storied history, being known as a favorite of Old Kentucky in the 1940s and 1950s. In bringing back these brands, I was able to utilize old labels to create their latest versions. The resurrection of Cedar Brook, the world's choice for bourbon, McBrayer Legacy Spirits. Additionally, our 100 proof Cedar Brook, which came together beautifully last year, holds a special place in my heart. I really like the finish, which to me is more like a rye finish than a wheat finish. Well, that's pretty interesting to me. So I'm happy that we get a chance to try this one here together tonight. See what how this one stands out as a rye versus a wheated, and if I get those same notes. On account of everyone's palate is different, especially mine. Sometimes I get these crazy notes. I think if you tuned into Wednesdays, I came up with that raisin and what was it? Raisin and anise on that one, mixed together with that barrel, was a really nice pour. So I'm really curious as to what Bill's notes would be on that whiskey that we had on Wednesday, the W.H. McBrayer. But let me cleanse my palate just a touch here. And get ready for McBrayer's wheated offering. Okay. Now, is it me reading Bill's notes, or am I really getting this? But I tell you what, the first thing that hit me on the nose, the very first nose I took, I got first a sweet wheat. Then as I nose it a little further, It's a sweet wheat, and it does have that rye spice note to it on the nose. Just that nice herbal, crisp herbal, spicy rye note to it. Not peppery, nice and herbal. Which is when I have a rye whiskey, I like those, and the crisper, cleaner, more pronounced they get. When I get into a rye, and you get into that rye candy as those ryes get older, the better it is for me. But in a wheated, I must honestly say, I don't remember ever having that type of a rye spice note on the nose. And what's even stands out more to me is, as y'all know, if any of y'all tune into any of my videos, I like my 2, 3, sometimes even 4 sips before my palate and my nose really develop and dive into those notes. But I'm getting it right away, which is why I have to ask myself, am I being influenced by Bill here? Or am I really getting this nose? I swear I'm getting this nose, but let's dive in for a sip and see if anything changes. That's a good sweet wheat. That is, boy, that's nice. The first couple sips, I'm getting a nice, I have to call it a nice sweet wheat. It's very sweet, very sweet bread-like notes. The nose is not changing much, but that palate is to me, sweet wheat. Now, I can say a little bit that crisp rye herbal notes that I was suddenly getting on the nose, on the palate, it's more of a peppery rye, and even in the back of the palate as well. Yeah, but the sweetness is clearly that sweet wheat sweetness. And this one, oh yeah, you licked your lips on this one. Talk about lips smacking good. It, boy, that's sweet. I'm trying to tune in and dive in a little bit more on just exactly what that sweet wheat is. But it's just, it's going for another sip here yet. Yeah, it's just it is a sweet, grainy, and grain is not negative. This is a nice grain sweetness, which is what why I enjoy wheated. But I can definitely see why Bill says in his notes that this finishes like a rye. There is a rye peppery finish to this that is very unique on a wheated bourbon. I have not had a wheated bourbon that has this combination. So I don't know how McBrayer does it, but that is quite the unique wheated offering. And from the other two McBrayers we had earlier this week, I remember quite a bit of barrel. I don't get so much barrel on this one. I get that nice sweet wheat nose and a few of those in that subtle, nice rye spice on the nose, which is a very interesting combination. Not quite as viscous as the other two on the palate, but really, really clinging to the glass. And I love it when you can lick your lips and you still get that sweetness in there. I mean, that's good. Back of the throat dries a touch on this one, but there's more of that wheat sweetness with that peppery mix on the mid palate, and as this finishes, and this finish is nice as well. You can just sit here and taste this one. And that drying in the back of the throat, now I'm going to have to change my words a little bit as it develops and as it finishes. In the back of the palate, now that drying now is a nice, I'm going to say a nice, delicate, charred oak. And it really finishes this off nicely. So, Bill, once again, cheers to you. Cheers to W.H. McBrayer. Thank you very much for all of these delicious offerings that you give all of us, and for how you care and have passion for your whiskey, how you care and have passion for those of us who want to buy your whiskey, and you take that time to give the attention to common folk like me. And another good offering by W.H. McBrayer and McBrayer Legacy Spirits. So if y'all haven't had one, I'm telling you, go to the W.H. McBrayer website, McBrayerLegacySpirits.com. Check out what they have. They ship to most states. To me, it's worth it. I think they're decent price, very nice offerings. And as you all know, I'd love to have you coming back around. So please, if you don't mind, hit that like, subscribe, and that bell. Share if you would. And most of all, please take it easy. Don't drink and drive. Cheers.